Gold Rush exclusive extended preview. Fred Lewis crew finds their gold-rich ground. Gold Rush is back and bigger in story arcs this season, with a promise of more gold than ever hauled out of the mountains of the Northwest. Parker Schnebel, Tony Beets, and Rick Ness are joined by a newcomer to the core cast who will look familiar to fans of Parker's Trails, the Gold Rush spin-off featuring Schnebel. Fred Lewis joins the core Gold Rush family. Discovery Channel's most-watched series remains to be Gold Rush, and it is returning this Friday, October 23, which the network described in a previous release was the richest season yet. The premiere episode preview features ex-Special Forces medic and greenhorn miner Fred Lewis, who has assembled other veterans in the search for land that will yield some gold. Viewers will see Lewis risk everything he has while looking for a gold mine of his own in the gold-rich mountains of Oregon. Gold miners, despite COVID, will return to their work amid closures due to the ongoing pandemic. In the early teasers for the series, the guys reaffirmed their work ethic. Parker Schnebel, Tony Beets, and Rick Ness returned to their claims despite coronavirus with some obvious precautions. This isn't just about gold mining. It's about coming together as brothers, living the American dream, and pulling gold out of the ground, said Lewis in a previous tease. In TV show's exclusive first look at the new season, we find Lewis testing his staked-out ground for gold. His crew he has assembled are working on a percentage deal, hammered out in the action of our clip below. The preview opens with Fred and his right-hand man Kendall, who have just run 20 yards of pay dirt. Kendall is managing the run while Fred looks through the sluice box in hopes of finding signs of gold. Intent in his mission, Fred says, "Before I clean these mats, and if we see some gold, we're really looking good." He points to some gold. "There's a good piece of gold right here. That's a good one." Less effusive is Kendall, who says that it's all fine and dandy to see the flakes stuck in the sluice box carpets, but at the end of the day the gold must be weighed and a serious decision needs to happen. Looking around at the blue skies, Fred says, "I think this is like a little slice of freedom up in here doing what we want to do. Pulling gold out of the ground. I mean, kind of like the American dream, you know?" The guys get down to business and go to measure the gold from the test run of pay dirt. What they need to get is a half an ounce of gold per 100 yards, so the 20-yard test must give at least a tenth of an ounce or the deal is off. They barely scratched the surface of their soil test run, and the results are: gold is in the dirt, enough to make this the spot that they can mine. Fred is happy and says, "That's phenomenal actually." The narrator notes that Fred and Kendall's 20-yard test has produced a tenth of an ounce and proved that the claim is rich in gold. If they continue at this rate, they could take home upwards of $1 million. The percentages and work agreements are hammered out to everyone's liking, as Fred says. "If you guys are willing to work with us on a lease. I don't have the money to purchase this property. I wish I did. You know, we're trying to start a lot of dreams here for a lot of veterans, and with your guys' help this is something that we can actually all pull together." The upcoming season will show miners Schnebel, Beets, and Ness in a time crunch after the fields are opened 2 months late in response to the pandemic. Schnebel, who is arriving in the Yukon, had great success down in Australia last year, and he's looking to expand his mining business beyond the Klondike. This new season, he is hoping to bank enough gold to buy even more land. Meanwhile, the hardworking Beets family is hoping to rake it in Yupat Paradise Hill. And Rick Ness, once Parker's foreman, had a major setback last year when he lost all of his profits. This season is do or die time for him. Lewis rounds out the cast as the greenhorn miner. The new season of Gold Rush comes on the heels of the recent death of a fellow miner on another spin-off, Gold Rush. Dave Turin's lost mine, as miner Jess Goins died at the age of 60. Goins passed away suddenly at the Box Creek mine. Make sure to tune in this Friday as the new season gets underway, and see how Fred meshes with his new veteran crew, while Rick, Parker, and Tony are all fierce competitors with a long history. Gold Rush will return with a special 2-hour season premiere on Friday, October 23 at 8 p.m. ET on Discovery. Old Rush exclusive extended preview. Fred Lewis crew finds their gold-rich ground in the world of Gold Rush. The pursuit of gold is not just about digging through dirt. It's about uncovering the secrets buried deep within the earth, testing the limits of endurance, skill, and sheer determination. For Fred Lewis and his crew, this season promises to be one of the most pivotal to strike it rich. Fred's crew may finally have found their gold-rich ground, the kind that could turn their season around and change their fortunes for good. Fred Lewis, a fan favorite in the Gold Rush universe, is no stranger to the challenges that come with mining in the rugged Alaskan wilderness. Known for his leadership, work ethic, and relentless spirit, Fred has fought hard to prove that he's more than just a newcomer to the gold mining game. With his army of loyal crew members by his side, Fred has faced everything from equipment breakdowns to harsh weather conditions, but this season, it seems the tides might finally be turning in their favor. After all, finding the right gold-rich ground is often more about timing and instinct than anything else. A new chapter for Fred Lewis. Fred's journey into gold mining wasn't born out of a lifelong passion for the industry. Instead, his entry into the world of Gold Rush came after a successful career in the military, where he served for over 20 years. His time in the Army taught him discipline, resourcefulness, and how to lead a team under extreme pressure, skills that have translated into his mining operation. What fans of the show may not fully appreciate, however, is the emotional weight Fred carries. The pressures of mining are compounded by the constant need to prove himself in an industry dominated by seasoned pros. It's a challenge Fred has embraced with an open mind, and despite the setbacks, he's continually evolved as a miner. This season is shaping up to be his biggest breakthrough yet. Fred's crew, a mix of veterans and new faces, has been working tirelessly to uncover the gold-rich ground that they believe could change the trajectory of their operation. In mining, success is never guaranteed, and with each passing day, the stakes continue to rise. But this season, Fred and his team may have finally found the mother lode they've been looking for. The discovery of gold-rich ground it all started when Fred's crew relocated to a new area they had been eyeing for months. The land, though untested, had the right geological indicators. An old mining claim with reports of gold in the soil and historical records that suggested the area could be rich with untapped resources. However, despite these promising signs, Fred's team knew that even the most promising ground could turn out to be a bust. The past seasons had shown that finding gold wasn't a sure thing. It required an immense amount of hard work, patience, and sometimes pure luck. As the crew began digging, Fred's hopes began to rise as early tests showed more gold than they had expected. The first few scoops of dirt yielded a promising amount of gold, enough to spark excitement among the crew, but not enough to declare victory just yet. It's the kind of find you dream about, says Fred in one of the episode previews. But we can't get too excited. We've been burned before. Gold mining is all about consistency. We need to see if we can keep pulling it up. What made this discovery different from others they'd encountered in the past was the quality of the gold. It wasn't just dust or small flakes. The gold was visible in larger pieces, something that the crew hadn't experienced in a long time. This was the breakthrough they had been desperately searching for. As Fred and his crew worked through the early stages of this new site, they quickly realized that they were sitting on a potential gold mine, quite literally. The deeper they dug, the more promising the results became, and before long, Fred was confident that they were on to something substantial. But even with this newfound optimism, Fred knows the work is just beginning. "We've only scratched the surface," Fred admits in a moment of candid reflection. "There's still a lot of ground to cover, and there's a lot of risk. But this is the kind of chance you don't get very often." The crew's dynamic and teamwork. While Fred's leadership has been instrumental in the crew's journey, it's the strength of his team that has made the biggest impact on their success. Over the course of several seasons, Fred has assembled a diverse and skilled group of individuals, each bringing a unique set of skills to the table. Whether it's the technical expertise of his machinery operators or the physical strength of his manual laborers, each crew member has played a pivotal role in moving the operation forward. But as with any team in Gold Rush, the dynamics of the crew are never simple. Tensions often run high when things aren't going as planned, and tempers flare when the pressure mounts. Throughout the series, Fred has struggled to find a balance between motivating his crew and keeping morale high. However, this season marks a turning point for Fred and his team. The shared excitement over the discovery of the gold-rich ground has brought a renewed sense of camaraderie among the group, and they're working more cohesively than ever before. In particular, Fred's bond